Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Out in the park again. Beautiful day.
Yes.
And nice to go for a walk. So we're reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam.
Canto 4, Chapter 26, Text 1.
I think it's chapter 27.
Canto 4, Chapter 27, Text 1.
And we're starting a new chapter today. I don't know, you didn't say it.
Text 1.
So I thought I'd fill in the blanks.
Oh, God.
Blankety blank blank.
Okay, blankety blank a minute. 427.1.
Did you want to read the title
No.
of the thing? All right, I'll read that. I'll fill in the blankety blank blanks. Attack by Chandavega on the city of King Puranjana, the character of Kalakanya.
Om Namo
Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 1. The great sage Narada continued, My dear king, after bewildering her husband in different ways and bringing him under her control, the wife of King Puranjan gave him all satisfaction and enjoyed sex life with him. Purport. After hunting in the forest, King Puranjan returned home, and after refreshing himself by taking a bath and eating nice food, he searched for his wife. When he saw her lying down on the ground without a bed, as if neglected and devoid of any proper dress, he became very much aggrieved. He then became attracted to her and began to enjoy her company. A living entity is similarly engaged in the material world in sinful activities. These sinful activities may be compared to King Puranjan's hunting in the forest. I've got nothing to say.
All right, next paragraph. A sinful life can be counteracted by various processes of religion such as yajna, brata, and dana. That is, the performance of sacrifice, the taking of a vow for some religious ritual, and the giving of charity. In this way, one may become free from the reactions of sinful life and at the same time awaken his original Krishna consciousness. By coming home, taking his bath, eating nice foodstuffs, getting refreshed, and searching out his wife, King Puranjan came to his good consciousness in his family life. In other words, a systematic family life, as enjoined in the Vedas, is better than an irresponsible, sinful life. If a husband and wife combine together in Krishna consciousness and live together peacefully, that is very nice. Peaceful being the operative word there.
Very nice.
However, if a husband becomes too much attracted by his wife and forgets his duty in life, the implications of materialistic life will again resume. Srila Rupa Goswami is therefore recommended Anasaktasya Vishayan, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 12255. Without being attached by sex, the husband and wife may live together for the advancement of spiritual life. The husband should engage in devotional service and the wife should be faithful and religious according to the Vedic injunctions. Such a combination is very good. However, if the husband becomes too much attracted to the wife due to sex, the position becomes very dangerous. Women in general are very much sexually inclined. Indeed, it is said that a woman's sex desire is 9 times stronger than a man's. It is therefore a man's duty to keep a woman under his control by satisfying her, giving her ornaments, nice food, and clothes, and engaging her in religious activities. Of course, a woman should have a few children and in this way not be disturbing to the man. Unfortunately, if the man becomes attracted to the woman simply for sex enjoyment, then family life becomes abominable. Okay, so there's a lot in this paragraph of this purport, which has 2 more paragraphs. So, first thing is that Srila Prabhupada is encouraging, not condemning, Grihastha ashram, Grihastha life, as a proper alternative to a sinful life. And what does that mean? It means a life where the man or the woman is just kind of basically, for want of better terminology, sleeping around or just moving from one partner to the next. So Grihastha ashram is much better than that. At least it's an authorized space to be in. But Srila Prabhupada is saying that one has to be aware or conscientious of the fact that it's easy, even within that kind of scripturally or shastrically ordained safe space, to also become lost in material longings and desires, usually driven by sex desire. So Srila Prabhupada picks up on the point where I think it's from the 3rd canto, the conversation maybe with Kapila Dev and his mom, I think, or in Kardama Muni, Devahuti, that basically the principle of sex desire and woman being strongly. So Prabhupada is saying here that, of course, that should be engaged. Men should look after their wives, should look after women in general, encouraging that there should be children to keep the relationship kind of occupied and satisfied. And that basically, again, warning that not to become too attached, but to understand that you're working as a team and a partnership in order to make spiritual progress like that. So that's my summary of that paragraph. Any thoughts?
How?
Nothing. Any comments? Anyone please put below. It's going to be light on the comments today.
Next paragraph. The great politician Chanakya Pandit has said, Bharya Rupa Vati Satru. A beautiful wife is an enemy. Of course, every woman in the eyes of her husband is very beautiful. Others may see her as not very beautiful. But the husband, being very much attracted to her, sees her always as very beautiful. If the husband sees the wife as very beautiful, it is to be assumed that he is too much attracted to her. This attraction is the attraction of sex. The whole world is captivated by the 2 modes of material nature, Rajaguna and Tamaguna, passion, ignorance. Generally, women are very much passionate and are less intelligent. Therefore, somehow or other, a man should not be under the control of their passion and ignorance. By performing bhakti yoga or devotional service, a man can be raised to the platform of goodness. If a husband situated in the mode of goodness can control his wife, who is in passion and ignorance, the woman is benefited. Forgetting her natural inclination for passion and ignorance, the woman becomes obedient and faithful to her husband, who is situated in goodness. Key point being who is situated in goodness. So if he's not situated in goodness, then they're all going to hell. That was my side point, not Prabhupada's point, but reading between the lines. Such a life becomes very welcome. The intelligence of the man and woman may then work very nicely together, and they can make a progressive march towards spiritual realization. Otherwise, the husband, coming under control of the wife, sacrifices his quality of goodness and becomes subservient to the qualities of passion and ignorance. In this way, the whole situation becomes polluted. I think it's fair to say, though, that if the husband is intelligent meaning trying to practice some sort of spiritual path to bring his consciousness to a higher level and be clean, literally, but also in the mind and actions and words, then, you can be better off without him.
Interesting point. Is that really true?
I think so.
Not better a blind uncle than no uncle?
But that's an interesting phrase, but I'm wondering if due to time, place, circumstance, it's applied so much. Like definitely culturally, from an Indian point of view, not all, I don't want to get trolled, but it is like, you know, you need to get married and you need to have a husband, you know. In the Western world, I'm not saying they've got it right, but it isn't, it's not always like you're incomplete without a husband, if you know what I mean. Your life isn't over and whatnot. So then for them and others, if that mindset is there, it might be like a burden. Well, I don't want a blind husband anyway. Just for the sake of having this trophy or not, you know, having my plus one. I can be my own plus one.
Yeah, so if one is situated in a high level of spiritual consciousness and self-satisfied, then there is no need to have a partner, and that person doesn't become either a woman or a man who just roams around looking for shelter. You know, as we were discussing the other day, that sometimes if a lady loses the shelter of a husband because the husband decides to go off and do something else, whether it's righteous or unrighteous, then she's left feeling unsheltered and usually will wind up kind of going back out into the field, you know, of play to find herself some shelter. And the same for a man. So I guess from the perspective that if someone is self-satisfied enough that they don't really need shelter, they don't long for that shelter, and they actually feel sheltered just by hearing chanting and performing devotional service, then of course there's no need for a partner at all. Absolutely. I agree. Most people are not in that space though.
No.
Most people are just unhappy to, how to say, you know, unhappy in a relationship, and they think if I leave the relationship then I'll be happy. But then they go off to get in another relationship and they find that wherever they go, there they are, and the same things are also there. So, like that.
Yeah, it's complicated, you know.
It's simple for the simple.
Complicated.
Very complicated. Okay, so last paragraph.
All right.
The conclusion is that a householder life is better than a sinful life devoid of responsibility. But if in the household life the husband becomes subordinate to the wife, involvement in materialistic life again becomes prominent. In this way, a man's material bondage becomes enhanced. Because of this, according to the Vedic system, after a certain age, a man is recommended to abandon his family life for the stages of vanaprastha and sannyas. And, you know, Prabhupada says this a lot, but my understanding is that vanaprastha is retirement age where actually you perform, it's the last stage where you and your wife perform activities together. And I'm sure there are definitely places where Prabhupada explains it like that. And I can't remember where it is, where there's a place in the Bhagavatam that explains each of the different stages and that there are different phases within those stages. So even amongst sannyas, the first stage is that he leaves, you know, the man leaves home, but he lives kind of outside of the house or on the outskirts of the village, and the wife is still cooking and bringing him food. And then the next level is that, you know, he moves on and starts traveling and there's no connection. And then I think there are 4 phases, and then the last one is Parvrajikacharya, where he's just traveling all over the world and has become... So the whole thing is like gradual. So it's almost like, why would you get to the start of the Vanaprastha stage and then it just be a complete separation when theoretically you've already spent 50 years, you spent 50 years getting entangled, so you probably need to spend at least another 25 getting unentangled from the entanglement. So like that. Anyway, just a thought. Any closing comments?
No.
Okay. I think we'll stop there instead of reading on. So, and the battery I notice on the mics is getting a little low. So,
Oh dear.
oh dear, oh dear. Okay, so thank you all very, very much for tuning in. Please keep watching. And we are, believe it or not, in sunny England right now, and it's been a lovely day. Thank
Yes.
you.
Hare Krishna.